Assalamualaikum guys, this is Aamna and this is Saniya. How are you, Saniya? How
I'm
does
good.
it feel to be on camera today, this early in the day?
I feel a little bit nervous.
Why?
I don't know with cameras.
So, I live in Karachi and Saniya lives in New York, of course, and we thought we're both associated with fashion and style. And for those who are not aware, of course, Fashion Fortnightly तो हम कर रहे हैं काफी साल से. But for those who don't know, I have been a fashion journalist now for 30 years, and that's where I started my career. And I've seen the first fashion shows come up in Karachi at a time when the Zia era was ending and fashion shows were still called cultural shows.
Oh, really?
They weren't allowed to be called fashion.
Really?
Yeah. And they used to be marketed as cultural shows. And then we saw the first fashion weeks kick in around 2008.
Okay.
And that was the time when there was a lot of cross-cultural activity with India. And Indian designers were coming in.
Really?
It was a great
How
time.
cool.
Yeah, we saw Taran Tuliani came and Rohit Bal
Came
came.
to Pakistan?
Yeah, to Karachi.
Whoa.
And a bunch of Bollywood celebrities came with them. So it was a really, really high energy time, the early 20,000s. And then, we saw how things progressed or not. So that's 30 years. And I was like, there's so much now. I feel that fashion is seeing a kind of a revival this year, post-COVID.
I think so.
Hai na? Do you feel that?
Definitely. I think people are having more fun with fashion in a way that they had lost for a bit. And even designers are sort of showing their personality more.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I think this new generation of designers, especially with the Hussein Rehar or who else? I mean, people with Iomi, a brand like Iomi, there is attention to detail, there is cultural reference, there is kind of individuality coming through. It's not all as commercial as we've seen it happen in the last 5 years.
Yeah, totally. And in silhouettes that are that can cross borders.
Absolutely, absolutely. So also for those of you who don't know, this is of course Saniya. Saniya has been also affiliated with fashion in New York. Saniya, tell us how.
So in New York, I work as a freelance stylist.
Yeah.
I've been doing that for a few years now. So that entails personal styling, which would be like with private clients. And then I've worked on some short films. I have done some commercial styling, so for brands and shoots.
Yeah.
And then I also got to work in the Sabyasachi New York boutique for the past year.
Yeah.
So there I was like a client stylist
Yeah.
working in the store, which was very fun.
Fun, right?
Yeah, it was very fun.
Yeah, I missed coming during that 1 year.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
we can still go visit the store.
Of course. And it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous, yeah. It was a very interesting experience because I think what he was trying to do is something that I see a lot of Pakistani designers starting to lean into right now, which was, again, sort of like cross borders and keep the heritage and the craftsmanship and the things that we love about South Asian fashion, but bring it to an audience that has silhouettes that they can wear and style into their everyday wardrobe.
And adapt to.
Exactly. And so I had a lot of fun, working with the clients in the store, showing them how to style these pieces.
Yeah.
People who are unfamiliar with South Asian fashion in a way that worked for them.
Do you think that a Western audience or a clientele is interested in South Asian fashion today?
Absolutely. I think culturally in the West, I'm noticing overall there's a movement towards slow, sustainable fashion
for sure.
and high quality, which is something that I think we have been doing for generations.
Yeah.
So people are taking note now, and particularly in New York, which I think is a good segue, we are in a moment of South Asian supremacy.
Absolutely.
With Mamdani and sort of with the way the culture in New York has moved towards everyone embracing sort of their identity and not shying away from it. And I think with Mamdani, people are feeling very loud and proud about it.
Inclusive.
Absolutely, yeah.
First it was diverse, but not necessarily inclusive. Now I feel it's becoming, or at least it feels that way, inclusive. Everybody has a voice.
Yeah, and I think the New York culture is that everyone is very individualistic and autonomous.
Yeah.
And so with sort of feeling comfortable in your own skin and feeling like you're a part of the fabric of the city, you feel more empowered to be exactly what you want to do and do that.
A sense of ownership.
Exactly,
a sense of identity.
Yeah, and fashion is such a fun way to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's such a great way of self-expression.
Yeah.
And it's our USP for all of us working in fashion.
Yeah.
We love it. We love it. So this is all for all the style-aware people out there. And of course, मैं थोड़ा Urdu बोलती रहूँगी. Saniya भी बोल लेती है. लेकिन we won't push her. We won't push her. But all style-aware people, we want to talk about fashion from a very cultural and finding your identity perspective. And today's episode is going to be about personal style because I think that's so important and that's where fashion begins.
Absolutely.
With personal style.
I agree.
And people who follow trends generally are not aware of their personal style. And I get this question a lot.
Absolutely.
That how do we identify our personal style? And I think everybody has one. They just don't know it.
Absolutely.
Hai na?
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. I think when I work with private clients, it just takes a bit of digging and a bit of removing all the pressures of society and the trends and sort of like the way social media has formed our sense of style,
Yeah.
and asking ourselves, stripping it down and asking ourselves what we enjoy wearing, what makes us look and feel good, and how we bring parts of our personality to our style.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes my biggest beef with stylists here in Pakistan, that they develop a look and then they impose it on the celebrity. And that doesn't necessarily reflect the celebrity's personal style or character or personality.
Definitely.
And so they're not in sync, and then it doesn't look good. Because the person wearing it is not comfortable, and therefore they don't look confident.
Exactly.
And then they don't look good.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that is what often happens.
So personal style, क्या आप लोग बहुत पूछते हैं कि personal style हम कैसे identify करें? So I guess we're going to start with known people who have very strong personal styles. When we talk about Mamdani,
Yeah.
how can we not
Yes.
talk about Rama?
Yes. So I really wanted to talk about Rama because I think that watching her come into the spotlight has been so enjoyable as a stylist and from a style perspective. I think when I look at her Instagram and I sort of see her personality, she is very good at dressing for her personality. She's an artist. She lives in New York City. Something that there was comments on was that she always wears boots.
Yeah.
And there was like a lot of threads and posts coming out like, does she ever wear anything other than boots?
क्या मसला है उनको boots
I
से?
mean, I think for a New York girl, boots are the greatest shoe, right?
Absolutely.
They're so useful no matter the weather, no matter where you're going to walk,
Yeah.
and they look chic. So I love her boots, and I'll comment on those later when we come back around. But I love how she wears her style in a very authentic way. She wears silhouettes that suit her, and she taps designers. And sort of, I think she has a very sustainable fashion approach. She likes secondhand and vintage shopping.
Yeah.
You can tell that's sort of where she sources her clothes from.
Yeah.
And so the specific look I wanted to talk about was the look that she wore to Mamdani,
Swearing
her
in.
husband's inauguration.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was two looks. The first was the swearing in. I think she wore a gorgeous archival Balenciaga coat, which was secondhand. It was taken from a fashion archive library in New York. And then she wore amazing tailored shorts, which a lot of people had opinions about because I think you would assume that someone, I guess she's called the first lady now,
Yeah.
would wear a dress or a skirt.
Something more conservative.
Conservative, a little bit more feminine. I think
Yeah.
that's the stereotype in politics.
Yeah.
But I love that she just wore what felt good for her and what I've seen her wearing before. And then she paired it with a fabulous pair of boots by this brand called Mista. And that was getting a lot of chatter too because apparently they're $600 something.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everyone was like, how can a democratic socialist's wife be wearing $600 boots? But this is what I love. I think like we're living in a moment where everyone is taking ownership of the narrative. So her stylist, who's a very cool stylist in New York, Gabrielle Karifa Johnson, she has a Substack and she wrote a whole article about where she sourced everything from.
Okay.
And everything was sourced either loaned or secondhand. So the boots were loaned by the brand.
Wow.
All the pieces, even the jewelry was
Yeah.
all borrowed. So I thought that was amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And it was a statement. And she's the first lady.
Yeah.
And I think what's great about Rama is that she hasn't sacrificed her personal style or identity just because she is now somebody important's wife.
Exactly.
So she is an individual.
Exactly. And then the long coat she wore, which was Renaissance.
Yeah.
It's Cynthia Merhej. She is a Palestinian Lebanese designer. I also love that she always pays homage to like her Middle Eastern identity, and the coat was stunning.
It was
Yeah, I
stunning.
hope she got to keep it. It was gorgeous.
I think she'll get it whenever she wants
Yeah.
to wear it. Yeah, that's absolutely. So when you talk about local celebrities in Pakistan, I feel that they're kind of struggling with personal identity right now. But somebody who's extremely popular, someone like Hania Amir, I feel that she's very young. And over the
She is,
years,
yeah.
you do now kind of associate a certain kind of a very easygoing, playful style in the way she dresses.
I think so, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, she's always, when she travels, she's in boots and she's in either very baggy, pants with oversized sweaters. And it's kind of, okay, I'm young.
Yeah.
I want to have fun. There's a playful vibe going through her wardrobe. It's approachable.
It is,
It's not
definitely.
stiff.
Yeah.
And, it's also like, I am my own person. I will not be dictated by what the fans want me to appear
Absolutely.
as, And I think that's very important and interesting in Hania's personal style. Also saw that in Misha's personal style. But of course, Misha Shafi was very, it was fierce. Her style was always very strong, very fierce, experimental, adventurous. She would push the edge and she knew how to.
Absolutely.
But there aren't many people like her.
I almost feel like she paved the way for the new age.
But not many people followed on that path.
That's true. I remember in the talk that we went to, where she was talking about sort of like her creative process at the British Council, she was talking about how her fierceness came from feeling like she had to sort of like do that to have autonomy.
Yeah.
I think the newer age celebrities I see just have that within them, and they don't feel like they have to fight it as much. They just do it quite casually.
Not so much in Pakistan.
You don't think so?
No. I feel that because celebrities are generally sort of, it's a television audience that they're catering to.
That's fair.
So it's the masses that they're catering to, which is hugely conservative, I feel, in a lot of ways.
Very true.
So they dress to please. And you see that a lot. There's not necessarily a bad thing, but then their individuality doesn't come through often. And they dress to please. If you look at them, either the clothes that you see are commercially procured or they're commissioned to wear, or they're wearing something that they know their fans would be happy.
Okay.
So they do dress modestly, which is great.
Yeah.
Certain colors, they will appear to be feminine. So you kind of don't know who they actually are.
True. Hania owns her style.
Hania owns her style, absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah, Hania owns her style. I like that about Hania.
And she's young, and I think she, like you said, she's having fun with it, which I
Like
enjoy
what
to
she
see.
wore to the awards recently.
The Lux Style
The
Awards.
Lux Style Awards. That dress was like, okay, it is a little too tight. You may not like it. You probably won't like it. I'll probably get a lot of backlash for it, and she did. But it was also like, I don't care.
She has a confidence as well,
Totally.
which I enjoy to see. I think when someone has confidence, you
Does
know
it
that
come with
they.
success?
I don't think it. I actually don't think
Don't
it
think
comes
so?
with success. I think when it comes to style, it comes from being comfortable in your body and in yourself. I think that, like you said, she makes those choices herself, not being told by a stylist.
Yeah.
So she brings an energy with that feels like she's making her own decisions.
And it shows.
Yeah, I
And
think
it
so.
shows. I think, yeah. And in some way, it kind of connects with the audience as well on a different level, which is, I think, why she's also globally recognized now.
Yeah,
Because,
that's true.
That one image of her on Diljit Dosanjh's concert
Yeah.
with the boots and the jacket, the
So
open
good,
jacket,
yeah.
so good. I mean, it's like, okay,
it's
that's
really cute.
memorable. You remember that image.
Definitely.
So images that you remember and clothes that are not just decorative, but have kind of expression, personal expression, that is where personal style comes from. You have a very distinct personal style, would you say?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. It's evolved over the years, definitely.
It does. I mean, that goes for everybody. I think ekdam to nahi samajh aati aapko, and you experiment as you're growing up. But now, I think now in my 50s, definitely I know what I want to wear. So if we're talking about print and color, and we're a nation that thrives on print, especially in summer.
Definitely.
It's like जब lawn season शुरू होगा तो print आएगा. But I'm somebody who avoids that chaos of print completely. So I have 3 distinct styles when I choose my fabric.
Okay, interesting.
One is solid.
Yes,
Mostly it's solid,
Okay.
which is also practical.
it is practical.
Yeah, because it's diverse. You can play around with it.
You can
make
style it a lot
you
of
can style
different
it a lot
ways.
of different ways, and economically भी सही रहता है, practical भी है, so solid to definitely. Pastels I didn't wear for the longest time because I had a mind block for anything that was overtly feminine.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
like, no, I don't want to appear that over feminine person,
Okay.
So I blocked pastels completely from my wardrobe. अब मैं पहन लेती हूँ थोड़ा. I think that confidence also comes with age. Print, I think definitely tribal. And then for years I was saying कि मुझे तो tribal बड़ा पसंद है. I wear tribal, and I was like, I asked myself why, and that's the question I picked up from one of your Third Mind talks, the first one actually.
Oh, really?
Remember when Amar Bilal said that if you like something, ask yourself why.
Yes, I loved that.
And then he said, okay, when you come to something, you say, ask why again.
Yes.
And then you get to the bottom of why you actually connect with something.
Absolutely.
So when I thought tribal, I was like, why?
Why?
do I like tribal? And then I thought about it, and I was like, okay, so tribal for me is an expression of community.
Interesting.
And the print is always very vivid and strong. So it's kind of a powerful imagery. Then it's also very symbolic. All the motifs are symbolic.
They are.
There's a story and a connect
yes,
behind
there's,
every.
there's a lot of storytelling.
It's not just there.
Correct.
It's storytelling. It's conversation. And I think there's also a little bit of magic somewhere or the other, with the symbols and
I like
everything.
that.
I like that.
Yeah.
So that's where my brain was telling me that, okay, you like tribal. I would never really question why. And then I did, and it made complete sense that there's an individuality and a love and a pride for tradition as well. There's also
You definitely
craft.
have that, yeah.
Yeah, there's also craft in tribal prints,
Yeah.
And then the third, which is completely like the polar opposite, is geometrics. And you decoded that right.
Yes. I think that you like geometric prints because you like order.
Order, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember when we were shopping, there were some floral ones or rather like asymmetric type of prints that weren't linear
Yeah.
and you were not fond of them. I think that probably subconsciously
Yeah.
you like the
order.
uniformity of it.
Yeah.
Also, from a visual perspective, we'll get into this more, sort of like the science behind
Yeah.
personal style, because I had a lot of fun decoding this for myself as a stylist, like what visual cues and things make something look good subconsciously to the brain and eye. But I think that geometric prints, particularly linearly up and down,
Yeah.
elongate your silhouette. So
Absolutely.
they are slimming.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably also why you enjoy wearing them too.
Also,
Yeah.
why you wear solid, right?
Absolutely.
Also, it's flattering.
Absolutely.
And even tribal.
And
is not
darker
so much.
colors. I think you lean towards darker colors.
Now, you know, I've started in
But
the last 5 years.
This one is good.
This one is good, right?
Really
we
good.
bought this together.
Yes, I love it. I love the shade.
Thank God I didn't wear the one like I've got one shade exactly like the one you made me buy that.
Yeah, I love this shade.
We
I
would be
think it always
twinning
looks
today.
good.
Yeah, I know it's a good shade. But absolutely. So whatever you feel is flattering to your complexion or your body type, you pick up on those. And sometimes it's subconscious, but somewhere deep inside, there's a reason for it. Always,
Definitely.
always.
Always.
Like with you, I know you like big earrings closer to your face.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I don't love hanging
You don't like hanging earrings. And you also I like to wear my neck pieces sitting on my what do you call it?
Collarbone area. Yeah.
You like yours a bit higher.
I like it more on my neck.
You like a choker.
Yes.
More than a collar.
So it's interesting that we're talking about jewelry, because I haven't even really decoded the jewelry piece.
Yeah.
That I sort of just go by my gut.
Yeah.
So if something, I'll like look at myself and I'll be like, okay, I think this looks better at that. But I started seeing this series someone was doing on Insta, maybe we can pop it up, of bold features versus soft features and which styles of jewelry look good based on what you have.
Right.
So with bold features, bolder earrings closer to your face look better because it keeps the eye frame here. When you have softer features, also rounder, sometimes you want to draw the eye down to elongate your face. So that's why you might like hanging or bringing it lower.
Totally.
And they would show a side by side, and it was
makes so much
really
sense.
cool.
Yeah.
Like a dainty necklace versus a bold necklace and how it looks different.
Also, it's balanced, right? Because
Yes,
you have an
absolutely.
angular, longer face.
Everything comes down to
this
balance.
comes like symmetry and balance.
Absolutely.
I have a round face, so if I wear something long, it completely changes the dimension of my just profile.
Absolutely.
So it's all about symmetry and dimension.
Absolutely, yeah.
You may think it's not, but it is.
It always
It
is. Yeah. And it's very cool to like dive into, because
Absolutely.
you start to notice the patterns
Yeah.
and you become better at dressing yourself. I think that's when your style elevates to the next level, because you notice the little nuances and you are able to make those little changes. And then when you know the reason behind it, I think you inevitably feel comfortable in the way you dress.
Absolutely. And talking about jewelry, like this ring that Kiran made for me, I mean, to a lot of people, they love it. They say everybody notices it. What they don't realize is there are little symbols on the ring.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that have been put together. And so I love that. I love the fact that there's a story or something to talk about on everything you choose for yourself, you know?
Definitely.
It's not just randomly buying stuff.
Definitely.
You're not buying stuff.
No.
You're not choosing from a pile of stuff, as Miranda Priestley was saying.
Correct.
you know?
Yeah, correct. I think on that, in that vein, it's interesting because we are talking about New York fashion versus Pakistan. And I think my personal style evolution, like you mentioned yours, has developed as a result of my experiences. Having grown up in the US as a Pakistani American, I spent a lot of years, I went to a school where I had a dress code and I had uniform. So there was no ability to express.
School,
for most of my like middle school and high school. So then in my 20s, I had a lot of fun with fashion. I did crazy things. I would wear like a fur jacket with stiletto boots to class. And people definitely thought I was crazy, but I would kind of just manifest anything I was curious about, which is a recommendation I give to people.
Absolutely.
And I think one thing that became emblematic of my style that a lot of friends mention is that I used to love wearing desi accessories, whether it was jewelry or scarves or jackets and things like that. Because now when I look back, I think that was my reclamation to wearing my identity on my sleeve. Having grown up, you know, being one of probably the only Pakistanis in most of my schools and classes, it was really fun to embrace these sort of pieces that I've always loved, that I grew up having a respect for, from my khalas and my grandmothers talking to me about their pieces. So I loved doing that. And I still definitely do that in New York because I like to bring a desi element to
I love that about
my
your style.
Western wear.
Yeah, you have such a deep connect to your roots.
Yes. What's interesting is Musa comments on that, less in a fashion, in a personal style way, but in more of like a decor way in my apartment.
Okay.
He noticed I had a lot of little South Asian trinkets and things. And he was like, I don't get why it needs to be so obviously South Asian.
Yeah.
And the more I thought about that, I related it to my style when I come to Pakistan. And I realized that when I come here, I don't wear a lot of very South Asian pieces on a day-to-day basis. Of course, in shadi and sort of like nighttime, yes. I think that when you're in a homogeneous place that is sort of your culture, the way your style manifests is quite different.
Yeah.
And you can focus more on the basics. Like when I'm here, I wear silhouettes I enjoy, colors I enjoy, but I don't have to feel like I need to wear my identity, obviously.
You're not allowed to prove anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I thought that was an interesting difference between the two.
But also, even in the Western wear that you wear, I noticed that you like a lot of structure on the shoulder.
Yes.
Like a jacket or an
Yes.
oversized jacket.
I love oversized silhouettes. I love shoulder pads.
Androgyny. I see a lot of
Yes,
androgyny in your silhouette
I do.
as well. Yeah.
I think growing up I was a tomboy.
Yeah.
I have a brother. I think like I played a lot of sports. So I love to mix feminine and masculine elements. I think that's one of my favorite things to do. So if I'm wearing really exaggerated silhouettes, then maybe I'll wear feminine jewelry or I'll wear bold colors. So I think silhouette and color theory, getting into the science, are two things that I love to focus on when I'm with private clients. I think silhouette is the number one.
Yeah.
Silhouette is all about dressing for your proportions.
Yeah.
So I have quite wide shoulders. Some would think that means you want to like hide them. But for me,
That's a misconception.
it is a misconception.
Yeah, yeah.
I like to exaggerate it because then it does create the hourglass. When I exaggerate my shoulders, the rest of my body seems slimmer.
Yeah.
So I think that that's a tip that I really like to give people is that don't shy away from bold silhouettes. Knowing your proportions, how long your torso is in compared to your legs can inform your proportion decisions. Like I have a long torso, so I like to wear short kamises. And then I don't know about you. I feel like you like to wear longer, flowy kamises.
I do. That's more for comfort, I feel.
That's
I feel
true.
that they're more comfortable.
I think it suits your silhouette, though.
I mean,
I think it balances nicely.
Balances it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, all my life I've heard that, if you're plus size, wear something a bit more structured or a bit more body hugging to make you look smaller. I think it's the exact opposite. Now I never want to wear anything that clings to my body. In fact, if I have fat arms, I like exaggerated sleeves.
Those puffy sleeve jackets you have are amazing.
They're amazing, right? And
I love a puff sleeve also.
I love a puff sleeve, exactly. Or if I'm plus size, I would prefer to wear oversized baggy kurtas and not sort of draw the focus
But okay,
to my...
I'll say one thing. I don't think your kurtas are baggy. I think that maybe commenters say, oh, it looks loose, or it's like, why is it so big? I think that it's very intentional. I think that when you have personal style, every decision you make is with intention. You wear something oversized. We can say the word oversized because it makes you feel comfortable. The first thing you need to be confident is to feel comfortable.
Absolutely.
However, your kurtas are all tailored to your size. You make, for example, this one made by a tailor who has your measurements, where you give specifications on what you want. So I think that it's not baggy. It's a flowy silhouette. And it creates like a nice visual, I think.
It's not shapeless.
It's not shapeless. It's absolutely not shapeless.
It can't be shapeless. Absolutely.
The final piece I wanted to talk about was color theory.
Yeah.
So I'm obsessed.
You've been wanting to do my color analysis for the longest time.
So I'm obsessed with the side of TikTok and Instagram where they do color analysis.
Okay.
I learned how to do it, so we'll do it one day for sure. It is a little complicated, right? I think like how a lot of these color theorists do it is they put you into a season or they put you into a bracket. I like to think of it a lot more simply and more approachably in a way that I think it comes down to intensity of color and shade. Okay? So let's take this color. Let's say it's like a red-orange, for example.
A blood orange.
A blood orange, yeah, that's exactly what I would say. I think that it comes in a more muted tone and in this very intense tone. What I notice is that people who have softer features, and softer features would be less contrast in their face, lighter colored hair, maybe not so bold eyebrows, eyelashes, maybe a smaller, softer nose, they look good in softer colors.
Right.
When you have a lot of contrast, visually, when you're looking at someone's face and you see strong features, bolder colors, in my opinion, look better.
Right.
Within that, I think you can definitely decide what colors make you feel comfortable. So, for example, I think this is a great example. This periwinkle, I really liked for you because it has a richness to it.
Yeah.
It's not muted. Periwinkle could be called a pastel.
Yeah.
But I think this tone has a richer undertone.
I think so.
And I think it suits like your hair, the way you style your hair, and the contrast in your face.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, even the print that we chose, the watercolor.
That was cool.
That was cool, right? I
Yes.
mean, and I felt, of course, linear lines
Yes.
and watercolor. So my association with art, and I love to draw and paint as well.
Yes,
so
I
it
love
was
that.
like it's all association.
It is.
It's all association. But coming back to jewelry.
Okay.
So the biggest trend, and we don't follow trends. We like to not follow trends, but we do see them.
Yeah, we like to observe trends,
Yeah.
but we don't necessarily apply them.
Apply them.
Yes, correct.
But this was bridal wedding season, right?
Yes.
And we saw a lot of wedding wear trends as well. And coming back to jewelry,
Mm-hmm.
I shared a picture of this young actress Hina Afridi with you.
Okay.
And she's wearing this beautiful
yes,
white
you did.
outfit with a lot of gold jewelry around her
Yes.
face. And I was like, it's almost like she's in a veil of gold
Mm-hmm.
because you don't remember her face.
100%. So I was looking at that because my gut reaction was a bit extreme. I was like, something is a bit off.
Yeah.
But I wanted to figure out what because generally I do think yellow gold looks good with white.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple of things. Her white was a bright, stark white. So it was a very cool tone white.
It was on an ivory.
It was not an ivory, it was not an eggshell, it was or eggshell is cool tone or
I think eggshell is cool.
okay, so it was not an
was-
ivory or a cream, it was very stark.
It was very white.
And undertones are a big thing too. So it was a very cool tone white. I think that was too much contrast to the yellow gold. I think that a more creamy white
Yeah.
looks incredible with yellow gold because it has warmth. This was too cool, and I also just think the necklace was very overwhelming. It was very circular, very.
I think it was all very overwhelming.
Yeah.
There were two necklaces, then there was an atni, then there was a jhumar one side, and then there was a hairpiece the other side.
It was too much.
And there was big earrings, but it was definitely a carefully thought out statement.
Yes.
Because if I went back to photographs and she's got bare minimum makeup. It's
Everywhere else.
There's no in that day on her wedding day. There's hardly any makeup because the jewelry is overwhelming her face.
Yeah.
But it's an image you will not forget.
No, you will not.
You will not forget.
I like that. I like when people
Yeah.
like do what they want to do
Absolutely. I
and
loved
own
it. I loved it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, that reminds me of a look that I loved this winter, which was Dina Rahman.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
So specifically, I don't know what it was in the context of her wedding week, but maybe like a Kawali. It was somewhere in Old Lahore. It seemed like it was on a roof. The scenery was stunning. And she did a similar thing where she wore a very simple outfit, which I think maybe would shock people because her designs are so recognizable with the
Lot of
style of
workmanship.
calm, very heavily calmed, but in a very beautiful way. She leans on pastel colors. She does like a very muted gold. She doesn't do a bright yellow gold.
No, it's very vintage.
Yeah, but what she was wearing was a gorgeous monochrome bright red and then her gold jewelry.
Yeah.
I thought hers was balanced very beautifully. I think with her, she has bold features, but I could see her face. She looked so happy.
Yeah.
I just loved those images. They made me feel really happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the same applies to Hina's images. She was
Yes,
so happy.
she was so
and
happy.
She was so happy,
Yeah.
and that kind of it kind of, that is the thing you remember. A happy
Absolutely.
bride.
Absolutely.
Happy bride, just So
What
that
about
was-
the days when the brides looked sad? They looked down.
No. I think those days are gone. Brides are happy at their weddings, and I like that. I mean,
Yeah.
women should enjoy their weddings, and
think
why
so.
should they be sad and another wedding, which we're recording in the midst of, so we saw the Mehndi pictures come out yesterday, and we actually saw that outfit that Mariam Nawaz got from Nomi.
Yes.
Remember that yellow lehenga?
Yes.
And she was wearing that at her son's.
It came out? I didn't see the
Oh, I
photo.
sent it to you.
Oh, I missed it.
She was wearing it at her son's.
How did it look? I loved that she paired the skirt with a long top.
Long top, of course. I mean,
Yeah,
she's the
and
chief
a-
minister of Punjab, so she has
yeah.
to follow a certain, and she's always got a dupatta on her head or whatever.
I liked the silhouette of the top though.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And then the bride Shanze was wearing sabyasachi.
I saw that.
You saw that?
I saw that.
Now, what was interesting, again, focusing on jewelry, she's wearing a sabyasachi top, a choli,
Yes.
which has a very deeply plunging V
Yes.
in the original design.
Yes.
But here, she's wearing a necklace so big that I couldn't tell whether the design had
either.
been modified for her, or was she hiding her cleavage and her chest? And
So Sabia allows you to do blouse customizing.
Customizing.
So I'm sure she customized it a bit from my zooming in. I love how she styled it. I think it was an interesting choice to wear an Indian designer, but I like when people do that. I think that
she got some backlash for it.
I'm sure she did. I think that, I wish we could have been in this time you mentioned in the beginning
I know.
when there was so much cross-culture and cross-border collaboration, because I really do love Sabia's designs. I really do love this era that it goes back to that Amar question of when you ask yourself why you like something and you keep asking why, the end of his question, the answer that he answered himself was often goes back to nostalgia. And I find that so much in the context of desi wear and bridal wear. All of us as Pakistani girls, we grow up seeing these glamorous photos of our grandmothers and our mothers, and they preserve their outfits and their jewelry, and
Yeah.
there's such a beautiful heritage of passing it down. And I think that Sabya really did take and own that in a time when it wasn't really happening. We were all
It wasn't
focused.
trending. It wasn't cool.
It wasn't cool. We were focused on the next new thing and cool cuts and
Yeah.
cool silhouettes, and again, like following trends. Like I remember growing up coming to Pakistan, and it was always, is it long kameezin or short kameezin?
Yeah.
And it was like, do we need to cut our kameezes or do we need to lengthen them? And he really just said, it's timeless. The work speaks for itself. The handicraft speak for itself. The
yeah.
artisans do something in a way that back that like Purana Zamana, that can never be replaced.
Yeah.
And you mentioned this, but I definitely do think we have a renaissance now of these girls tapping their mothers and their grandmothers' outfits.
Yeah, repurposing
and
old
repurposing
garments.
them.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's cool to do it now. Everybody should, but it's also practical to do it now.
It's practical. We don't get work like that barely anymore. And it's very nostalgic and
You're
emotional.
repurposing your nani's saris, I
Yes.
think? Yeah.
Yeah. From India.
From India.
Yeah, from Bangalore.
Yeah, so I love
Yes.
that. I mean, I
Yeah.
think it's good to hold on to history.
I think so.
History is very important and where it's coming from. And you have, again, stories, conversations.
Exactly.
It
What
should-
is fashion if not storytelling?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I love it.
So what would you say to people who are still looking for their personal style?
Ooh, I would say experiment. I think that experimentation is the key to finding what works, and lean on what makes you feel comfortable. And then ChatGPT is a great tool,
Yeah.
if for nothing else but explaining the science behind it to you, like we sort of talked through. If you kind of describe your proportions, or if you even take it a step further and do some measurements, if you put your measurements in, I'm quite certain they'll give you such a wide range of suggestions, like if you have skinny ankles, show your ankle because it
Yeah.
draws your eye down in a slimming way. If you have, like we said, bold features, do this, do that. I think there's so many ways to experiment and learn, and I think have fun.
Have fun.
That's the most important thing.
Absolutely. I think the bottom line is have fun with it.
Yeah.
And, there's always a purpose or a reason why you like something.
Yes.
And think about it.
Think about it.
Think about it.
Put intention behind it. Don't just follow trends because
Don't
you saw
follow
them on
trends.
Instagram.
Absolutely. And again, अब हम शादी के season से निकल रहे हैं और lawn के season में जा रहे हैं. And this visual chaos will start pouring into our pages.
True.
Because
Is that
you've
what
got
happens?
Print on print
Okay.
on print, and then there's embroidery on print.
So
and
do
then
people
there's-
like print for Ramzan, or it's for this season of
No,
like
I think that I
summer?
hope that we see a change this year because we need to break away from the print on print on print with embroidery on print and then lace on embroidery on print, and there's this visual chaos that is happening. And in this chaos, I would appeal to everybody to find your personal rhythm. What resonates with you as an individual? What print? You will not find me buying or picking up florals.
Absolutely.
It just doesn't connect with me.
I understand that.
The pool, the booty, उसके अंदर से कुछ और निकल रहा है, ये वो, no. Find your rhythm, find your personal sort of identity, and don't follow trends.
And once you do that, you consume less too. So
Yeah,
it's better
so
for
important,
yourself,
so
for your
important.
wallet, for the environment.
Absolutely,
You kind of
absolutely.
get to lean into what makes you feel comfortable, and
Absolutely.
you have a sort of uniform. You know what you like. You buy high quality pieces in what you like, and you
Yeah.
don't have to keep just
Don't follow trends.
following trends.
Don't follow trends. So guys, ये conversation थी और बड़ा मजा आया मुझे तो बात करके. I mean, after such a long time, I was reading up on these things, identity and expression, self-expression, sort of, blocking the noise, blocking the chaos in clothing, finding your rhythm, finding your core, whatever. There is a science behind it, and everybody has a personal style. The bottom line is, and
Yes.
so. Do you like these conversations? Because I would love to have them. Summer, how is it happening there? How is it happening here?
Yes.
What does summer bring in terms of style? Or when talking
Ramzan
about
fashion,
Ramzan
Eid.
fashion. How
Yeah.
is Ramzan styled in New York, for example?
Yes.
And you are very active through Ramzan.
Yes.
Yeah. And you also throw a really nice Eid.
Yeah, I like to have
open
an Eid
house
party
yeah,
now.
Eid
Yeah,
party,
it's fun.
exactly. And the namaz and everything. So there's of course it's dominated by climate, by cultural sort of architecture of the city. Everything influences the way you dress. But Ramzan style, summer style. मैंने कभी white नहीं पहना था when I was growing up.
Really?
I would shy away from white because हमेशा ये कहा गया था white में बंदा और बड़ा लगता है. But with time, I was like, no, I need that zen in
White
my
is so
life.
beautiful and classic.
White is so classic and beautiful. And also, I feel that it's zen. It gives me peace and calm.
I agree.
It's very calming, so that's important for me.
The don't wear white after like Labor Day. I don't know what they say in America.
Really?
They say something like that. Like white is a summer color. Don't wear it in the fall.
Well,
I think it looks great. on you.
J-Lo kind of, changed
broke
that.
that,
She
yeah.
broke that code. So no, so every code can be broken. I mean, I don't think anything is
think
set in
so.
stone. Absolutely. So, Bilkul, so we're opening the floor to you guys. Would you like us to continue these conversations, which can get a little intense, but that's good. I think
fun.
it's good. It's good fun to have like deeper conversations on fashion and style and not be superficial all the time. And of course, it's the Karachi meet New York, the crossover, the Karachi New York crossover.
Yes.
And I think that should be good fun. We still haven't named this series. If it becomes a series, so आप लोग recommend करें, आप देखना चाहते हैं. This is Saniya, who you've all wanted to meet, and Saniya and Musa also host a fabulous event in New York City,
Yes.
where you're also taking pride in your subcontinental heritage and all of that, South Asian heritage.
Yes.
So you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we basically started the Third Mind.
Yeah.
So we have an Instagram page. You guys can check it out. Essentially, we do an event series once a month where we host an event in a very cool, fun venue in New York, and we make it more about intentional socializing. That's sort of the mission. So in New York, in a place that's so chaotic, I'm sure you find that here as well, but there everyone is very obsessed with work,
Yeah.
fortunately or unfortunately, however you look at it. And we found that people weren't taking a moment to slow down in a way where you could learn something and you could connect with people and sort of do all of those things. And so we find a cool speaker. We've had Amar Bilal, which was very cool. We had the Sami brothers. We have them talk about their art, their craft, what makes their work unique and special. And we ask them questions that tell the journey of where they've come from and where they're going. And then we have a little social hour, so whoever's attending can network and connect, and it's really fun.
So if you're in New York, check it out.
Yes.
But do check out the page. And yeah, I'm looking forward to your comments and your suggestions. And I hope we continue the series and it becomes a permanent on the AHI YouTube channel. So thank you guys for tuning in. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you.